You've got an unbelievable amount of power. Why should anyone trust you? Honestly, you shouldn't. That's how one of the most powerful conversations around AI began. And since launching ChatGPT, OpenAI has transformed into one of the most influential and valuable tech companies on Earth. But the story behind OpenAI isn't what most people think. It's wild, it's chaotic, it's filled with power struggles, betrayals, and even an attempt to overthrow their own CEO. This is the untold, insane history of OpenAI, a story that stretches from Silicon Valley boardrooms to government meetings, and it's one that affects every single one of us. Because it is really the story of how artificial intelligence went from a nerdy science project to something that might just reshape the future of humanity. Sam Altman didn't exactly follow the traditional path to power. He studied computer science at Stanford, and then dropped out to chase a startup idea. That company was called Looped, an app that let people share their location with friends. The problem? Sam started before the iPhone and the App Store even existed. Not exactly the best timing. Still, Sam pushed hard. He lived on instant noodles and ice cream, worked non-stop, and his diet got so bad he literally developed scurvy. Then, in 2005, he joined the very first batch of Y Combinator, the legendary startup accelerator. That's where Sam caught the attention of Paul Graham, YC's founder. Paul became Sam's mentor, and he noticed something unusual about him. Paul once said, "Sam is extremely good at becoming powerful. You could drop him onto an island of cannibals and in 5 years he'd be their king." And Paul wasn't wrong. Sam eventually became the president of Y Combinator at just 30 years old. That made him one of the most connected people in Silicon Valley, with direct ties to the tech world's most influential players. And when Sam gave talks, one topic came up over and over again: artificial intelligence. Meanwhile, in 2015, Elon Musk was worried, actually terrified. He kept warning that AI was racing ahead with almost no safety measures. In his words, "Most people don't realize how quickly this is advancing. I tried for years to get people to slow down, to regulate it. It was futile." At the time, Google was the king of AI. They had bought up AI research labs and employed about 3/4 of the top AI talent in the world. But when Elon confronted Google's CEO Larry Page about AI's risks, Larry brushed it off, telling Elon he was being paranoid. To Elon, this was a nightmare scenario. One company controlling AI, led by a man who didn't seem to care about safety. So he decided to do something drastic. And that decision would lead him straight into partnership with Sam Altman. In late 2015, 10 of the most influential people in tech sat down for dinner. Elon Musk was there. Sam Altman was there. Greg Brockman, who had helped Stripe grow into a payments giant, was there. And so was Ilya Sutskever, one of the most brilliant minds in AI research. Over dinner, the group laid out a bold plan. They would create a new AI lab that could rival Google. Elon pledged $1 billion in funding. Greg would run operations. Ilya would lead research, and Sam would orchestrate the vision. That night, OpenAI was born. Not as a company, but as a non-profit. The idea was radical. They claimed profit motives were too dangerous when dealing with something as powerful as AI. Instead, they'd build AI for the good of humanity, openly sharing their work for free. As Elon put it, what's the opposite of Google? A non-profit, open source, transparent, something built for everyone, not just shareholders. At least, that was the promise. When OpenAI first started, it didn't look like a company that would change the world. They didn't even have an office, just a handful of people crammed into Greg Brockman's apartment. We were working on the couch, the kitchen counter, even the bed. That's where this whole thing began. But with over $1 billion pledged, they quickly hired top researchers. And yet, in the early days, OpenAI felt a little lost. They built a video game bot for Dota 2. They tinkered with robot butlers. One employee admitted, "We were basically doing random stuff to see what would happen." Neither Elon nor Sam were that involved at first. Elon was busy with Tesla and SpaceX. Sam still ran Y Combinator, so leadership fell mostly to Ilya and Greg. But everyone shared one obsession: AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. Not just software that could do one thing well, but an intelligence that could learn anything, the kind of AI that could surpass human abilities. To the team, building AGI felt like building God. Some believed it would solve humanity's biggest problems: disease, poverty, climate change. Others feared it could lead to something catastrophic: an AI that decided humans were expendable. Sam summed it up bluntly: if this technology goes wrong, it could go very wrong. At the time, they were still just coding video game bots, but the vision was clear. OpenAI wanted to create the most powerful invention in history. The reason most people weren't paying attention back then was simple. AI had gone through decades of disappointment. For years, it was stuck in what researchers called an AI winter. Lots of hype, very little progress. But in 2015, something changed. For the first time, an AI beat a professional Go player, and then the world champion. Still, this AI was limited. It could only play Go. If you wanted it to do anything else, you had to start from scratch, training a new model with carefully labeled data. The joke in Silicon Valley was that the best AI could only tell you one thing: hot dog, or not hot dog. Human brains were still special because they could learn almost anything. But in 2017, a paper from Google changed everything. Google engineers published "Attention is All You Need," a paper introducing a new AI system called the Transformer. Unlike old models, transformers didn't need neatly labeled data sets. They could learn from messy, unstructured data. Basically, they could teach themselves. Google invented it, but ironically, they hesitated to release it. They were scared it might say something offensive, spark lawsuits, or threaten their search business. That hesitation left an opening. OpenAI jumped in. They quickly realized the transformer could be the foundation for a new kind of AI. That's where the GPT in ChatGPT comes from: generative pre-trained transformer. Suddenly, OpenAI's progress skyrocketed. The internet became their training ground. Billions of pages, books, conversations, all fed into their models. And while this raised serious copyright issues, Silicon Valley's motto has always been, "Move fast, break things, and ask forgiveness later." By the time OpenAI built GPT-2, they realized it was too powerful to openly release. For the first time, OpenAI broke its own promise. They refused to publish the code, saying it could be misused. Wired magazine even ran the headline, "The AI Too Dangerous to Release." That's when people started asking, is OpenAI really open at all? In 2018, Elon Musk quit OpenAI's board. Officially, it was because of conflicts with Tesla's AI work. But the truth? He had tried to take over as CEO, even suggested merging OpenAI into Tesla. The board said no. Elon left, taking most of his money with him. Of the $1 billion he pledged, less than $100 million was ever delivered. Suddenly, OpenAI was strapped for cash. So they made a massive pivot, switching from non-profit to for-profit. They capped investor profits at 100x, but for many, this was a complete betrayal of their mission. Even worse, they partnered with Microsoft, the very kind of big tech company they had promised to resist. Microsoft poured in $1 billion, and in return, OpenAI would help make Microsoft stronger. Critics mocked them, calling them closed AI. And when it came time to appoint a permanent CEO, the choice was obvious: Sam Altman. By 2020, OpenAI launched GPT-3, but the real game-changer arrived on November 30th, 2022, the release of ChatGPT. It wasn't hyped, just a casual tweet from Sam. "Today we launched ChatGPT. Try it out." Internally, the team thought they'd maybe hit 100,000 users in a week. Instead, ChatGPT exploded. It went viral globally. Within 2 months, it hit 100 million users, making it the fastest-growing app in history. Faster than Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. People were stunned by how conversational it felt compared to old chatbots. But not everyone inside OpenAI was happy. Some safety researchers hadn't even been told it was launching. They worried it could be misused for hacking, scams, or worse. Despite that, ChatGPT became the face of AI. Microsoft doubled down with a $10 billion investment. Big tech went into panic mode. Google, Meta, Amazon, all scrambling to catch up. Inside OpenAI, though, cracks were forming. Engineers were split between chasing profits and prioritizing safety. That tension was about to explode. On Friday, November 17, 2023, Sam Altman got a text from Ilya. Join this video call. When he joined, the OpenAI board was waiting. They told him flat out, "You're fired." Sam was locked out of his account immediately. OpenAI released a vague statement saying he wasn't consistently candid with the board. In other words, they thought he was lying to them. Speculation ran wild. Some said Sam had clashed with board member Helen Toner after she published a paper praising OpenAI's rival Anthropic. Others said Sam was distracted by side projects like WorldCoin and raising billions for an AI chip venture. But the most chilling theory? That Ilya saw something internally about their AI progress that deeply alarmed him. Online, people kept asking, what did Ilya see? Regardless, Sam was out. But by Saturday, employees revolted. Co-founder Greg Brockman quit in protest. Nearly all 800 employees signed a letter threatening to leave unless Sam returned. Microsoft offered to hire the entire team if they walked out. By Monday, even Ilya flipped, saying he regretted firing Sam. The board had lost. By Tuesday, Sam was back as CEO. The board members who opposed him were gone. Sam emerged more powerful than ever. In just 5 days, the coup had collapsed. ChatGPT's next big leap was voice mode. Suddenly, people could have realistic conversations with an AI assistant that sounded human. The comparisons to the movie Her were obvious. People began using ChatGPT not just as a tool, but as a therapist, a friend, even a partner. OpenAI even reached out to Scarlett Johansson, the voice in Her, to voice ChatGPT. She declined, but when OpenAI released a voice eerily similar to hers, Johansson sued. Sam tweeted the word Her right after launch, which didn't exactly help his case. Still, the progress was undeniable. AI was advancing faster than anyone predicted. Jobs thought safe from automation, like writing, art, and design, were suddenly being disrupted first. Even Google's dominance in search looked shaky. The scary part? We're still at the beginning. Some say AI could create a world of abundance, curing diseases and ending poverty. Others fear it could wipe out humanity, and the race is no longer just American. By 2025, a Chinese AI company called DeepSeek burst onto the scene, wiping hundreds of billions off U.S. tech valuations. OpenAI accused them of stealing IP, ironic considering OpenAI built its empire scraping the internet. Now, OpenAI is valued at $300 billion, backed by SoftBank in the biggest private tech funding round ever. Sam Altman and Elon Musk, once co-founders, are now rivals. And the truth is, no one knows where this goes next. But one thing is clear, the AI race is just heating up, and its outcome will shape all of our lives. If you want to see what happened last time SoftBank threw billions at a startup, watch my video on the $47 billion disaster of WeWork. Trust me, it's a crazy one.